There is an old saying that says, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you will always get what you always had. What is up, my dear friends? My name is Tyler Joe Stratton. I am your heartbreak coach, coming to you today talking about how if nothing changes, nothing changes. I haven't been on here in a little while, but I've been working on this course for you guys that is going to completely change your life. I promise you that. It's been probably like 3 months now worth of work. I've been in the game plan sessions. I have been asking people for, help and advice and moving this project forward so you guys can ultimately create happiness after your heartbreak. So I'm excited to bring that to you. But today we're going to be talking about how if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I'm going to give you 2 ways in which I begin to change myself and my life after my heartbreak. Now, this comes from, if you're not a part of the Happy Heart Academy yet, be sure to check out the Happy Heart Academy. The link's going to be in the show notes below. If you're listening to this on the podcast, be sure to click the links, go to the show notes and check out community.happyheartacademy.com. That is where you'll find this information in which I'm talking about. But right now, for those who are enrolled inside of the Happy Heart Academy free side of the community, I offer them weekly and daily healing so that they can feel more empowered, more uplifted, energized, and ready to go. But today I bring to you one of the secrets that I talk about when it comes to overcoming and coping with your heartbreak. Now, how do you overcome a heartbreak, and how do you work through your breakup, and how do you create happiness so that you can finally go out into the world once more with an open heart? You see, a lot of the times what happens to many of us is that when we get hurt and we end up getting broken up with, is we end up losing some of ourselves and we close off our heart, and it becomes very challenging for us to ever open ourselves back up again because of the pain that our ex left us with. And if this is you, listen, the Happy Heart Academy is a beautiful place for you to come and join as we continue on this journey together with weekly videos, with weekly emails, with daily posts. Listen, there's a lot there, a lot of resources, including my guide, The Walk Back to Happiness. I could get into it, but just go check out community.happyheartacademy.com, and there you will begin your walk back to happiness after your heartbreak. But today, like I said, this comes from my email series that I'm currently producing and coming out with, and it's secret number 5. And it's all about how if nothing changes, nothing changes. And what I want to talk to you today about is this idea that a lot of the times when we get hurt, we continue to go down and live the same life as though nothing happened. We don't change anything. You see, from the time that we got broken up with, a lot of us do not want to try to change ourselves. We don't want to try to change who we are or our living circumstances or situations. So we do the same thing over and over, expecting tomorrow to be different. When we don't change the way we do things, nothing changes. When we don't change our mindset, we stay put in the same broken mindset. When we don't change our health set, when we don't take care of our bodies, when we don't start doing things differently, most of the time, nothing changes for us, and we wait for time to change or the time to heal or for, we just guess our way toward our healing, and that never works out. Although when you guess your way toward healing, what I've learned is what happens is that many of us end up numbing ourselves through the pain, almost ignoring it or pushing it away until it becomes obsolete, until it doesn't. And what I mean by that is most of the time is when we re-enter a relationship, a lot of these emotional traumas, this trauma bond, these hurts that we haven't dealt with, we just learn to numb away, push away what is not seen, what we ignore, we don't have to face. So we become really good at numbing and ignoring our problems. And we enter a relationship thinking, hey, we're healed, we're okay, everything's fine. But then again, when we enter that relationship, all of these issues unfold because a relationship really opens you up. So what I'm challenging you to do is during this heartbreak period, during your time away, during your time of singleness, I want you to spend some time with you. And I want you to spend some time getting to know some areas of your life that you can change. During your singleness, it's about actually working on yourself so that you can become a better version of yourself, so that you can offer more of yourself. And when you become a better version of yourself, you're basically allowing yourself to attract a higher quality individual, a better quality partner, maybe even your forever partner. Now, ideally, when I talk about how if nothing changes, nothing changes, if you're still living in your same hurt and your same pain and you're still struggling to overcome your heartbreak, it's because you're living the same life that you lived when you were with them. You haven't tried new things. You haven't pushed yourself to get uncomfortable. You haven't stepped up to the plate to own your hurt so that you can eventually live from your heart. You've just become really good at numbing things. Now, in my earlier times, when I was first going through my own personal heartbreak, there are some things that I really wanted to change. I knew that I didn't want to stay hurt and broken. I knew that I wanted to move on. I knew I wanted to let go. I knew I wanted to create happiness. I knew I wanted more wealth, happiness, positivity, and wealth. And what I mean by wealth is the idea of feeling rich internally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Financially as well, but ultimately it was more about my wealth and well-being than it was my wealth and finances. Now, some of the areas that I talk about here when it comes to overcoming your brokenness and what to do in your singleness, these ideas will really, I think, significantly help you to feel better in this very moment. So the first thing when I went through my heartbreak, one of the things that I wanted to experience is I wanted to feel more open and loving, because I felt so broke and alone. And I didn't know how to create this feeling of like openness, like I'm open and vulnerable, I'm real and I'm ready. And I didn't know how to open myself up to love, loving myself, loving others, loving God, loving, what I do, just love in general. I didn't know how to do it after it was like, love is what I thought caused me so much pain. So why would I want to continue to love when it involves so much pain? Well, maybe that's a conversation for another time. But today, what I want to talk to you about is how you need to find 3 to 5 different areas. This is the actionable step that you can take today. Find 3 to 5 areas that you want to focus in on, that you want to improve and change. Like I said, one of the main areas that I wanted to improve and change is my feeling of openness and love. And how did I do that? Well, when it came to feeling like I was open and connected, one of the things that I found very difficult for me to do when I was hurt and broken was to connect with somebody. I didn't care if it was my brother, my mother, my father, my friends, strangers, coworkers. I found it rather hard to connect with those individuals. And one of the reasons why I felt so disconnected was because ideally I stopped giving them eye contact. Eye contact plays a vital part in your ability to feel connected to yourself or to others. Eye contact is something that I started to improve because I wanted to feel more open toward other people by deeply connecting with them. And I didn't really know how to do that until I started to understand that, I don't really offer people my eye contact. I always look away when I'm talking to them, or I don't really engage with them, or I just like take a moment to look and then I once again look away. And it was a lack of confidence. I didn't want them to see or feel how hurt I was. But when I started to become more open and I started to engage with people and I started to hold eye contact with them and I started to deeply engage into the present moment with them, sometimes they would look away, which I'm okay with that. I wouldn't look away until they looked away. But I would always be sure that if I wanted to feel more open to other people, I would look into them and I would look at them into their eyes. And if I wanted to feel deeply connected, I would hold eye contact. So that's the first thing I changed. I could either stay disconnected and stop connecting with people by no longer and continuously going down that path of no eye contact, or I could start to deeply connect with people by holding eye contact. I know it sounds simple, but I promise you it's a little bit more difficult than you think. Give it a try. Okay, if you're feeling like you're lost, if you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling alone, these are things that you can do to improve your engagement and your connections. So give it a try. Number two, something else that I wanted to be more open toward was love. Now, when love's taken away from you, the last thing that you want to experience is love, because you know how bad it hurts. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And when you experience heartbreak, one thing I don't want you to experience is a closed heart when you find someone else. So I knew along this path that I needed to find a way to continue to open my heart. Now, the strategy that I use is a rather simple strategy, but it was uncomfortable. And I'm sure you're going to experience that too. But hear me out. The thing that I did that changed to allow me to open up, to allow me to feel more love, feel more support, feel more connected, was hugging. I know that sounds like, well, that's what the heck, Tyler, but oftentimes a lot of guys don't hug. They offer a handshake when you meet somebody, or they head nod, and then they look away. But the two things that I implemented into my life so that I could change my life and change the way that I felt was eye contact and giving more hugs. I stopped becoming a guy that would offer a handshake or a simple hello, and I became a hugger. Until this very day, I love hugging people. There's an art to hugging and how you're supposed to hug. Did you know that your heart needs to be on their heart when you embrace a hug? There's true connection and power there. Give it a try. But what I've realized when I was doing this so that I could become more open to love is I would give like weak hugs, like awkward hugs, and my body would be stiff, and it didn't feel like I was completely vulnerable, embraced like a blanket. It was more stiff and rugged, and my body language was like, don't touch me. But internally I was like, I knew I needed to embrace the hug. So when I was starting to give hugs and started to be the hugger rather than the handshake or the head nod or the simple hello kind of guy, what I started to realize and what I started to tell myself was when I started to give hugs, I started to relax my shoulders, and I started to talk to myself as when I started to give a hug, I was like, I accept and embrace this hug fully and openly. In this hug, it's okay for it to make me happy. See, some things sometimes, I don't know why, but oftentimes I didn't allow myself to feel a hug, to feel touched, I didn't want to be touched. I was hurt. I didn't want to be embraced. I was in pain. I didn't want my energy to be wrapped around them, so I held it away, kept it away from people. But when I started to get lost in the sensation of the hug, when I started to understand how to hug, and when I started to affirm the reasons why I accepted this hug, I started to feel more open. I started to feel more love. I started to feel more connection. And these are the things that can help you too. So I want you to give it a try this week. I want you to go out there, step up your game, and do the things that make you feel uncomfortable. Because listen, nothing changes if nothing changes. And you've got to understand that. Because if you don't understand that and you expect a different result or a different feeling or a different way of life after your heartbreak, but you're doing the same thing, you're going to find yourself hopeless, lost, and alone. The secret to creating happiness after heartbreak is found in your willingness to acknowledge, to accept, and to be open to changing yourself in the way you're currently living. My name is Tyler Joe Stratton. I am the founder of the Happy Heart Academy, as well as the author of my book, The Big Three, where I teach you how to build joyful and loving relationships with yourself, others, and God after heartbreak. And ideally, if you found this video helpful today, be sure to subscribe to the podcast or subscribe to my email list, or if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe there, hit the like button, and share this out with 1 or 3 of your friends who you find or know that they're facing some tough times. Sometimes simple reminders will help people feel more connected. We need to get more connected. We need to feel more alive and in love with ourselves, others, God, and everything in between. And this video, if it helped you, it can help them. So be a dealer of hope today. Offer this video, share it out to 1 to 3 friends, and to be the dealer of hope. Let them know that you're thinking of them. And if you want more content like this, be sure to check out the Happy Heart Academy. And you can find me at community.happyheartacademy.com. to gain more insight. You can join us at our monthly membership side, or you could check out some of the courses that I offer to help you overcome your heartbreak, or you can get so many different free resources to help you feel happier, move on, let go, forgive, whatever you need. It is inside the Happy Heart Academy. So I hope to see you there and talk to you soon.